Welcome to another video. But you know that we have to get up and do the video regardless. Let me see, what time is it right now? It's actually 9:50 right now, right? And I came to the crib setting up saying that I'm gonna do a video, right? And one part of my mind was like, man, just don't do it today. Don't do it today. Do it tomorrow. We can do it tomorrow at an earlier time, right? But another part of my mind is saying that you got to do this. This is something that you have to do, right? You have to do this. The reason is that for me to face my insecurities, I had to do stuff that gonna make me be more secure, right? And that's what insecurity is all about anyway, right? It it was never like, it's not bad to have a insecurity or multiple insecurities, right? Because there's a spectrum on what you can control and what you can't control, right? And then you have to judge your insecurities and those spectrum across the board. So for example, I'm 5'5", right? If that couldn't be one of my insecurities because that's something that I cannot control, right? or or I'm black. That can't be one of my insecurities because that's something that I can't control. So all the stuff that I can't control, that's innate to me, I gotta accept that and let that go. However, the stuff that I can control, like my insecurity of my ability to be the man that I need to be, it's not actually a bad thing because it comes down to the fact that listen, if you're not secure in a certain field, then all you need to do is to get secured, right? All you have to do is get secure. So with that said, is like insecurity in itself is not a bad thing. It's just the way, it's all about perspective at this point, because the way people view insecurity is like, okay, I'm insecure in myself, so let me hide it on the makeup, let me hide it on the fancy clothes, you know what I mean? I don't like to see myself when I'm naked, I look fat or whatever the case may be, so they hide it under these clothing, under stuff like that, right? And that's when it becomes a problem, because you're not actually trying to face your insecurity and try to become secure in what you don't accept about yourself. You try to hide it, right? And you hiding it is going to compound, it's going to compound, and then it's going to get, your shadow is going to get denser and denser and denser, right? And the more denser your shadow get, the more it's gonna come out when you don't, when you're not aware of it. You're just gonna lash out at someone, right? You will see someone like when you go to like you ever like see people go on a trip and they'll be like, I'm so pretty, or they say, like, they look at a picture of themselves and they're like, wow, I'm so pretty and stuff like that, right? It's like confirmation bias. Like they need that confirmation that they are pretty or whatever the case may be, because they in themselves, they don't really feel like they're pretty. You know what I mean? Like a really pretty person don't look at themselves and say they're pretty. That's something that they know is something that is normal for them, right? But like, it comes down to this, right? Because I think that you cannot speak what you are, right? Most people cannot speak what they are, right? And let me explain what I mean when I say that. Because if you're saying, like, you can't say you're brave, it's either you're brave or you're not. You know what I mean? Like, a dog doesn't say, oh, I bark. The dog just bark at you. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't say what you are. When someone is trying to say that they're brave, that those are just affirmations and stuff, like they want to be. right? That's what they want to come true. They're just trying to cast a spell on their life so they can somehow reprogram themselves to become what they're saying. Because a brave person doesn't say they're brave, they just act brave, right? So and that's the same thing when it comes on to belief, right? Because a lot of people who say they believe in God doesn't really believe in God. And why do I say that, right? It's because this, right? Most people live their life, and when something bad happens, that's when they call on God, right? Then, and then on the other hand, you have some people who live their life around God. They pray 4 times a day. They're really religious. These are people who truly believe in God. You know why? Because it's an act. It's the way they're acting, right? People like what you truly believe is how you act, right? Like to know and to not do is to not know, right? So a lot of people think they believe in something when they don't, right? Because for example, a lot of people believe that, oh, we should go to the gym, eat healthy and be fit, right? But how many people actually see that through, right? Is that a lot of people actually go to the gym and try to see that through? Why? Because they they the belief system in itself is irrelevant, right? The belief system in itself is irrelevant. No one cares what you believe because I think that we're using this word belief too lightly, because when it comes on to like belief, and it's like it's not something you say. When you believe in something, it's not something you say, it's something you do, right? It's like you don't believe that your mom is your mom. You know your mom is your mom. It's like belief versus knowing, right? Belief is like, I don't know if this is factual, but I have faith that it's factual. So I'm gonna continue down that journey, and I hope at the end of the day it's gonna be factual, right? But knowing is the evidence. Like you don't believe if you fall off a building, you're going to somehow splatter on the ground. You know that. It's like you're like, oh my god, I see so many things fell and they just crash out on the floor, right? What goes up comes down. You know gravity. You don't believe in gravity. You know gravity, right? You believe in so so basically what I'm trying to say is that most what people tend to believe after time is not something that they know, right? Because they believe they need to eat healthy, but yet they don't. They eat burger because that's what they know. That's their life. That's the things that they were programmed to do based on their circle, based on the surrounding they were brought up in, right? And most fat parent make their kids fat, knowing that that's a disability in the form of they know that they used to got bullied for it, and now their kids got to suffer the same thing. Like they don't set any example for their own kids to not have that way, because they know like they pass on the burden of torture, man. Like it's some weird thing, man. The way I'm explaining it is very controversial and twisted, but it goes without saying that most people are passing on pain through a generation, right? Like most people know, if you ask most parents, right, don't know like what they want their daughter or their son to become, right? Because if you ask them, right, what kind of man do you want your son to grow up to become, or what kind of what woman you want your daughter grow up to become, right? They'll describe all of that. But you see, the problem is when they describe all of that across the board right there, when they describe all of that, the flaw with that is they're not embodying, it's like they're not embodying it, right? Because your people in on a whole, right? We don't learn by what you tell us. We learn by what we see. That's why knowing is different from belief, right? Because we do what, like most parents have this belief, right? do as I say, not as I do, right? Don't do what I do, just do what I say. And it doesn't work like that because the kid gonna mimic the parent, right? And if you're saying I want my kid to grow up and be this type of person, A, B, C, D, and E, all these qualities that you're putting on the board, right? You have to ask yourself, are you that person that you're describing? Because you are the first role model of your kid, right? And that's how burdens are generation passing on through generations, right? You can change it by embodying what you need your kids to be the example, because the parent's sole job as a parent, right, this is the job as a parent, is to make sure by the kid reach 18 years of age, right, they're equipped and ready to take on the world. That's that's your job as a parent. So by the time they reach a young adult ready to take on the world, they're capable, they're equipped. If you look at some of the in the wild, and you see how these in the wild and you see how these tigers and lions take care of their little cubs, right? They hunt for them, they teach them how to hunt and stuff like that. So when the cub is grown, the cub already know how to hunt on his own, right? And so he can teach his kids, his little these little cubs afterwards how to hunt, right? And that's basically your job as a parent, right? To make sure that your kid is equipped to take on the world after you're gone, after the fact that they reach the consented age of being a young adult, right? And basically, like, that's that's the name of the game right there. Yeah, I lost track of what I was gonna say. You know what's like? This is the thing, bro. We need to talk about some like branding. Like, let's change the flow, because I wanted to talk about like branding and making content, right? And for any of you guys out there, I don't care what you do, whether it's real estate, track and field, maybe you're a director, everyone need to have like a local TV show about themselves, about what they do, how they're doing it. Like, the job, when it comes on to like branding, the thing is not about to be don't it's not about being an occupation, it's about being a human being. Act like a human being, not the occupation, right? And what does that mean? If you're a director, right, show the common stuff, like you getting frustrated, you getting like confused on where the you think the set is going. You handling people, telling them where to go, where not to go. You handling how people are showing up late on your set. You handling how you talk to your team. You get what I'm saying? You're a real estate agent, the same thing. So you go driving towards the opening and be like, you know what? Talking to the camera, be like, I'm driving to my first opening, whatever the case may be. I need to talk to this client or whatever. It's like a vlogging type content, right? And the reason why I say that, that's more direct into the life, and it's more realistic, right, than just making a 30-second reel of you pretending to be someone that you're not, right? And it's very powerful to make content like that. That's the best form of content out there right now, to treat your life like a reality TV show, right? Showcase the way you act, the way you walk, the way you talk throughout your daily. It's like, get this out of your head. You don't make content, you are the content. So it's almost like you're hitting the record button and just flowing. Similar to what I'm doing right now, because I don't really have a script. I'm just flowing based on what I know, what I'm experiencing, right? Like, most of my content that I make is not scripted. So even when I do clip it up and put it on Instagram and stuff like that, it's gonna come out a little bit out of context, right? Because as I said, my videos are not scripted. They were made to be like this so the distribution can be wide. You get me? So with that said, like on Instagram should be like a little snippets of who you are, right? Or a little snippets of something bigger, right? And when you're like making videos for YouTube, that should be the big thing. Like the YouTube, the TikTok and the Instagram and the Facebook channels drive the traffic too, because that's where the big things happen. That's where the full documentary and all of those things go, because that's a long form content platform. So when you like clip up the long form content and put it on the short form platform, those are the platforms show that the little snippet of all these stuff. Like if you go on Instagram, you see like a clip of Andrew Tate, or you see a clip of I Show Speed, right? Or Kai Sinant or whatever you call that dude, right? The black dude with the dreads, right? You're gonna realize those are clips from a much longer stream that they do. They do live stream. So those little clips that you're seeing are clips from that are repurposed from the long form content that they make. Right, and that's a very important takeaway here. You have to make the long form content most likely freestyling, because that's where you're mostly naturally, that's your natural state of being. That's where you can actually comment, like talk what's on your mind and talk your expertise, and it's less structured so people can see the humanity in your voice. They can hear it in your voice, right? And that's where you can have the contrast from being too structured to be a little bit more relatable, because that's the name of the game. We need a relationship, so we have to be relatable to the audience, right? Like people try to overthink this, right? I don't care who you are, what you're doing, right? You have to build a relatable platform, if or a relatable habitat, if you want to connect to your audience, right? And the best way to do that is to vlog and show them that you are just like them, a human being with frustration and goals and dreams and aspiration just like them. It's about to start rain, so I'm just gonna end this video right here. Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoy it, like, subscribe. If you don't do anything. It's totally fine. We just keep making content regardless. All right. Peace.